Did you see that?
See what?
You didn't see that? Are you crazy?
I didn't see that. I might be.
You might be. I think
just
this
very well
podcast
might
is
be.
haunted. Ooh. Welcome back. Unless this is your first time watching us, then in that case, I am Grin, and this is
Coco.
And welcome to our super spooky edition of YAMCast.
Is it really spooky?
It's the scariest one.
Really?
Yeah, there's only 2 out, so this one's significantly scarier.
I know at some point when we were recording in another session, we were talking about some scary stories.
Nope, doesn't exist.
Oh, it does exist.
No, not real.
For another time, I suppose.
Oh, speaking of which, that story that doesn't exist. So we did a little reading on it, if you guys remember. If not, we did a reading from the book called 13, which is just a collection of scary stories. One of the edgier ones was some guy, and he tells you to do things, and then he calls you autistic, which is kind of weird. But I decided to get into it. I went into a very spooky place, and I lit a candle, and I was in there by myself. And well, afterwards, after the podcast, I went back in, and I decided, I'll light the candle again. And I should mention that I was in the bathroom when I was doing this, and the candle ended up being really close to my toilet paper, and some of it caught on fire. And toilet paper burns really fast. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. I almost caught my entire house on fire just because this guy's stupid story.
Wow. Just wow.
I felt that that really needed to be said. But do not keep candles next to toilet paper. You got anything for us, Coco? Any words of wisdom?
That I've never done anything like that. That's ridiculous. Was that recent?
Yeah, it was right after. Let me put this pen away because I was already clicking it like crazy.
Yeah,
it was right after the podcast. I went to the bathroom and I decided I'm gonna light the candle, and I lit the candle, and then I was like, okay, you know what? Some paperwork needs to be done. And
how close was it to the toilet paper?
It was, I guess it was significantly close, and it lit up real fast, and I was like, oh my god, it lit up faster than I thought it was, and I had to like tear it off, and I threw it in the air, and it was like all burnt out by the time it touched the ground.
Oh, I wish I was there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's funny.
So that being said, what are you gonna be for Halloween?
Gonna be the Phantom of the Opera. No,
I was gonna say, weren't you that last year?
No, I never dressed up as that.
The
only reason why I bring that up is because of the fact that me and the wife were watching Phantom of the Opera, the 25th anniversary edition that it was like a Broadway show they did out in England. And it was really good.
Was it? Was it on Netflix?
No, that's not the theme of this episode, but yeah,
it's on Netflix.
I would have to say, it's on Amazon Prime. You have to rent it. It's like $5 or some crap like that.
I specifically remember you dressing up as the Phantom of the Opera several times.
That's a big fat no.
Who was that man then? We were at a Halloween party, and I remember you wearing half a mask, and you were wearing
It wasn't even half a mask. It was a mask.
It was the mask of the Phantom of the Opera then.
It definitely was not. I can tell you that right now.
Who was that then? Who? It must have been a ghost. It was a ghost. Boo!
No, we gotta look back at those pictures again.
No, I'm like 120% sure it was you.
I'm 130% sure it wasn't.
That being said, for me, I am going to be a really cliched character that's always dressed up for Halloween, but I decided to do a little spin on it. I'm gonna be what? How many Minions have you seen in Halloween?
Plenty.
I'm gonna be the Joker. Oh wow, so creative, right? Wait.
What happened to Man Witch?
Yeah, that's not happening anymore because I decided to be the Joker.
What?
The New 52 comic. Have you seen the New 52 Joker?
I have not.
He just cuts his face off for no reason and he puts it back on.
Oh, okay. Now I remember that one. Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna be. Yeah. I figured it's pretty easy. You know, you got the little work coveralls, and the hardest part would be doing the mask. But I got some liquid latex, and I'm gonna try to make my own mask.
Oh,
it'll be interesting.
Is that what you're gonna be dressed up for the party?
If I do go to the party.
You're going to the party.
Don't
be that way.
Things
don't
that
be that
might
way. It's the
come up.
Last. What things?
There's things. Just know that there's things happening, man.
There's no such thing. So you'll be going because this might potentially be their last one.
And you know what? It might.
And I'm pretty sure. You know what? And that's the thing. I'm not sure where you're gonna be living. You know, within by next year. So it might as well. It might be the last one. It might be the last time you see them. I don't know.
It might be. And it might not. That last time might have already happened. Who knows? I don't. Anyway.
You do. Oh, excuse me.
Moving on to my next little thing. What is your opinion on creepypastas?
Love them.
You love them.
I do. I wouldn't say quite love, but I really do like creepypastas. I knew there was one time when I was in Korea that I read them on Reddit a lot, and it was great. And it wasn't necessarily around the time of the year like it is right now in the month of October, but I would read them every now and then, But of course, obviously, October hit, and it was almost, I wouldn't say every day, but it was almost every day that I read at least a few on Reddit. And they were great.
Really?
And also goes back to even watching scary clips and videos and all this other stuff on the internet, and obviously, especially on YouTube. So I'm not entirely sure how you feel about them, or if you like watching scary movies, TV shows, and clips on the internet like I do. But there are two channels on YouTube that I like, but I know how you feel about us talking about these channels on our channel. But you know what? I mean, I love hearing them. I really do. And for our listeners out there, if you would like to
leave our channel and watch other people. More confident,
well,
more better.
Well, I wouldn't say that, because these two channels are geared towards like the scary, supernatural, the very creepy and weird stuff. It's really great. But Mr. Nightmare, I started out with him years ago. Still watch his channel to this day. And Nuke's Top 5. Those are the two best channels that I love watching every week. So yeah, go check them out. And of course, keep checking us out whenever we
do it
post
after
our videos.
Do it after this video. Don't do it right
because
now.
we talk about other things. It's not just strictly scary stuff. But they do.
I do
no,
like
seriously,
some
what do you think?
creepypastas.
Why some?
Because I haven't really read much.
When I do interested in scary stuff?
When I do read some creepypastas, most of them are really bad. But I guess I kind of stick to what I know. I read creepypastas about like cartoons and video games. I don't know if there's anything like about, well, I don't know. Can you give me an example of one that's not a video game or a cartoon?
Oh man, you would have to have me research that, because I don't know any off the top of my head. But when you're talking about the video game ones, you're probably talking about like the scary Sonic one, right? And also the scary Zelda story or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. There's two creepypastas. Yeah. those are the two most popular ones that I can think of. But the ones that are not video game related, I would have to look back.
Like a cartoon.
You would have to think about the most well-known, iconic creepypasta, Slender Man.
Right, and he's not a video game, but he got turned into a video
exactly.
game.
He eventually did, right?
And a movie.
I believe, I was about to ask that. Yeah, wasn't there a movie? Yeah. But then, of course, there's that real life story that happened with those girls, which was terrible. But don't know if you want to talk about that or not. But
let's probably leave it out of this one, unless you want to make it spooky.
That's not quite spooky. That's just downright just weird, and
it's pretty
sad.
Messed up. Yeah,
it really is. It's really twisted. But anyways, but yeah, you're really not that interested in creepypastas because they are pretty much all not that good. I'll give you that.
Well, I don't think I ever said that. We can rewind right here. I do like
seriously,
some
what do you think?
creepypastas.
Why some?
Because I haven't really read much. And that's what I said. That's what I said, but I think that a lot of the ones that I read are kind of like low tier. I remember this one that really sticks out in my mind. It was about the Rugrats. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's...
No, I don't think I have.
Angelica, she gets into a car accident or something, and she makes up all these adventures, and that's why she thinks the babies can talk or something like that. And it's just the dumbest.
Oh, I remember that one now. Yeah. I think I saw there was a video somewhere on YouTube that I saw that, and they were talking about it. Now I remember that. She made it all up in her head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird.
There's also that the Squidward suicide one.
Oh, that was just really really depressing, actually. It's not quite scary, just really depressing.
So I don't know. I like the more believable ones. Do you know,
can you bring up one that is true?
I can't really think of one off the top of my head, but it's something along the lines of a kid goes to, and they all start this way now because
of course,
some kid goes to a garage sale and he ends up buying a cartridge because he loves the game and he wants to relive his nostalgia, and he takes it home and he plays it and it's super weird, and he turns it off, but it doesn't turn off, it turns back on or something like that, and then everything's all weird and jarbled, and then you met with an unfortunate fate that's in every single video game now. But yeah, I the reason I say it's more believable because I know you can go out there and mod a cartridge to do weird things. People have done it before, and I can see somebody modding a cartridge at a garage sale and selling it off just to scare the crap out of a little kid. But all the access, it came out of the TV, it choked me, and then I was in the game. It's no, that's not.
There was, this one may not be true, but I know you're gonna get really annoyed by this, but there was, I want to say it was a creepypasta, unless it was just a scary story that was submitted to this YouTube channel, and it was really creepy, but I don't think they post weekly. I think it's more bi-weekly or once a month type thing. But these two guys, they react to stories that are submitted to them. But there's one story, if I remember correctly, I think it was titled "The Last 911 Call" or something like that, and it was really, really creepy. Basically how this little girl was by herself and she called 911 because she thinks there was somebody in the house. Somebody broke into the house, and the dispatcher was on the other line trying to comfort her and stay on the line with her the entire time. And she's scared, of course. And at the same time, he could hear the commotion on the other end. And there was some kind of creepy laughter or something like that. She, I think I kind of remember it now. Now that I'm talking about it, it was like something very supernatural, and the dispatcher and the girl could hear the voice outside the door because she had like barricaded or locked the door or whatnot, and the voice sounded like one of her parents. And the dispatcher was like, "Don't open that door." He's like, by any means, do not open that door. It might sound like one of your parents, but it might not be. Wait till the policemen get there, And he's over there looking at the other screen or whatever, looking at the ETA of when they'll be arriving and whatnot. And he's counting down, and he's just like, I mean, it was a really detailed story, and it was really creepy. It kind of kept you on the edge of your seat. But pretty much, like once it got really tense, I guess at some point of the story, it seemed like everything was okay. He could hear the policeman coming in and checking around, and he felt relieved. He was like, "Oh, thank God." But then all of a sudden he started hearing like this cackling, like this laughter. And this voice came over, and basically said something along the lines of saying that, it's too late, or I got her, or I forgot how exactly what was said, but pretty much the girl ended up dying. And then later in the story, after he retired, he got a knock at his door. And I'm not sure if he lived in an apartment or a house, but when he opened the door, I remember there's a part in the story where the dispatcher was asking her, "Do you have like a stuffed animal or something to kind of keep you, to kind of comfort you?" And she mentioned like, yeah, I got a little stuffed bear or something like that. But anyways, fast forward at the very end, when he opens the door, that stuffed little bear was sitting on right outside the door. I was like, bro, it was a pretty creepy story. I think that's what it was called though. I think it was like the last 911 call or something like that.
I vaguely remember some story like that, but it was like it was the dispatcher one too.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Like I would like stories like that instead of like the cliche other kind of things.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna have us have a little competition. I was gonna have us write creepypastas and then post them somewhere and see who's got more views, and we could read them on the podcast. But that sounds like a lot of effort.
And you're lazy, and I'm not that creative, so there's that. I can only talk about like stories that has happened to myself or stories I've heard with other people.
Oh,
like
we
I've
could
said
do
in that other recording,
like a round robin. You start like with a couple of sentences, and then you pass it to me, and then I finish it off with a couple of sentences, and we keep going back and forth.
Oh God, that's terrible.
And then we can read it for Halloween.
This could get weird very quickly.
That sounds like a good idea. We could read it for Halloween. I'll read your parts, and you can read my parts.
Whoa!
We'll try to keep it scary. We'll get some like scary ambiance going. And...
Like scary weird, or just
why does it gotta be weird? What do you want this to be? The scary, like scary. Boo!
I'm pretty sure it would be.
So I got written down here. Pay moot. I can't read my own handwriting.
Wow.
Do you have any idea what that might mean?
Pay
by what? Oh, I know what it is.
What you're talking about now? You can't read your own handwriting.
I know what it is. I know what it is. So have you ever seen Baywatch?
Oh, I remember you were talking about this before. Vaguely, like if you're talking about the original TV show with David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson.
Yeah,
I remember seeing it kind of as a kid.
So I've never really watched it until recently. What are your opinions on it?
It's just, a show with girls with big boobs running on a beach very slowly.
See, you think it's just maybe it's just Pamela Anderson, but it's just a significant amount of people. There's everybody's running around with their hanging out or the big boots, and they're all blonde and
okay. But yes. So, not all blonde though. But,
no. From what I was watching, and I watched a marathon. There was a marathon going on.
There was a marathon, and you watched.
The marathon was going out. The internet was out. I didn't watch every single episode. I watched like 3 episodes, but in every episode they were all blonde, except for this one brunette, and her goal.
What was her name? Jasmine Bleak or something like that.
Well, I don't know. She's the only one wearing a one piece, and her dad's like, "Oh, better never catch you wearing one of those skimpy like bikinis." And she has like, she's walking by this chick, and she's like got her both cheeks just hanging out.
Okay.
So she goes and she lays on the beach, and she sees people having like volleyball, or they're playing volleyball, and she's like, "Oh, that looks like fun." She like walks over, she's like, "Hey, can I join or can I play winner? Ha ha ha! It'd be fun." And they're like, "Go away, loser." And then she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she goes and she sits down, and then this hunk lifeguard. It wasn't David Hasselhoff. It was some other guy. Mm-hmm. But he comes out, and they're like, "Oh man, I can't wait to slam that dude." And then she's like,
"What?"
Yeah. They're all like, they really want this dude. And the chick wearing the one piece, she's like, "Oh, okay, I see what's going on." And then she goes out into the ocean as deep as she can. She just makes a beeline for the ocean. She starts swimming as far as she can. And then she saw like, "Oh, help me, I'm drowning." And this is like the Little Rascals kind of thing. Was it the Little Rascals or the Sandlot? It's like the Sandlot kind of thing. And the hunky guy, he goes over and he saves her, and he's like, "Oh, thank you." And he's like, "Okay, what's wrong?" And she's like, "Oh, I got a cramp in my leg." And everybody's like standing around, and they're like, "Really?" And you think it's not gonna be like that. You think like this girl's gonna like find out about herself. She's like, "Oh, I don't need to be like this. I don't need these bikini girls' attention." But no, it goes in the opposite direction. She starts like sneaking into the guys where he like watches people. What are those things called? Towers?
Yeah.
She like sneaks in, and she's like, "Oh, hey."
Watchtowers.
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, I need a change." And he's like, "Well, the changing room's over there." And she's like, "Well, I can't. There's like some pervert over there. Can I please change in here?" And he's like, "No." She's like, "Please." And he's like, "Fine, I guess, whatever." And she starts changing it, or she tries to change. She's like, my zipper's stuck. And he's like, "Come on, lady." And she's like, "No, really." And he like unzips her. And then she's like, "You could take it off all the way too." And he's like, "What the heck is wrong with you?" And she's like, "Well, it's like a prize for saving me." And he's like, "You're no prize, and I'm no prize either." And he like storms off, and she's like, "Well, you are a prize." And
okay.
She like leaves her bikini there, and like it's a whole other thing that I just really stopped watching. But you think it starts it off as like, oh, it's a sympathetic poor kid who's like wearing a one piece. She's like really self-conscious, and we should feel bad for her. But in the end, she turns out to be like this super vindictive, manipulative, leaving like her bikini in there for the guy's girlfriend to get mad at him, and it's all so bad. Yeah.
So I guess this could tie into
no. It doesn't have anything to tie in with anything. I just wanted to talk about Baywatch. I wanted to talk about like these blonde chicks with their big bazonkas and the guys are hanging out. I cannot believe
wow.
I've just never seen it until I guess I always had this vision in my head where it's just David Hasselhoff running on the beach on slow motion, and some people call something. I don't know how the song goes, but it's something like that.
Wow.
But no, I was completely wrong.
Late reviewing that. Okay.
Yeah, I was completely wrong. It's all about cheeks.
So anyways, continuing with the theme of Halloween.
Yeah, anyways, so the Addams Family, like we were talking about earlier. Actually, I have a little correction to make. It's not by Illumination. It was going to be a by Illumination. And for some reason, they were going to make it stop motion, which I don't think Illumination's ever done anything stop motion. So I don't know who on the directing board. Maybe that's just a rumor or something. But the company that ended up making that animated movie about the Addams Family was MGM. And yeah. I ended up watching it, and it's not bad. maybe I wasn't really like into it. I can't say that I would ever want to like go out and watch it with like a whole bunch of people like, oh yeah, we need to see the Addams Family movie. But it's not something
the original.
But it's not something I'd be like, oh man, this is the worst animated movie I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe MGM even attempted this. How dare they?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to live up to the expectations of the Addams Family movie back in the 90s.
Should we talk about
the
the 90s Addams Family?
I mean, if you would like to. I vaguely remember, aside from having a huge crush on Christina Ricci. I mean, I would like to go off a limb and say, that, who didn't? But I'm pretty sure there might be a lot of people out there saying she's ugly and all this other stuff too. But of course, everybody has their own different tastes.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their own opinion.
Different strokes for different folks.
Hey.
But yeah, so I recently watched that one too. I watched it after the animated one. Just, do a little compare and contrast.
How can you compare an animated movie to a live action?
Well, not necessarily that. I was comparing more the characters. Let's see. Oh, and the editing and the movie in general, I guess you could say, whatever. So I thought the editing in the 90s one was really kind of disjointed. I don't know if you remember it, but they like kind of cut to a lot of different parts, and sometimes I didn't know if it was the next day or it was the same day. I wish I could bring up like specifically. I wish we just watched it right now. I don't know if we should like pause this and watch it real quick so we can talk about it. But
do like a Mystery Theater 3000 or whatever that show is called.
Yeah,
where they actually watch like B-rated films and they comment about it like throughout the entire film.
We could, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they get those really old films because those become public domain, and then you can use them.
It's actually on Netflix, I want to say. Yeah, it is. It is on Netflix. Really great. I used to watch that as a kid growing up.
Spooky ghosts.
Spooky ghosts. Ooh.
So, did you want to tell us? Okay, wait. So, we have a new part of the podcast. It will be
part 2.
No. We're keeping this all together.
I thought you wanted to chop it up.
We have a new segment for the podcast. It'll be a recurring segment, and it'll involve one of Coco's favorite passions.
Oh, yes.
You want to take it away, Coco?
Earlier, you were asking me about one of your favorite things in the world to buy, to collect.
Wait.
Pop figures.
That's why.
Right?
How are we going to start off? How are we going to start off with a big lie already?
It's not even a lie. I know you love the collection that I have.
I have 2 pop figures.
And I figured, see, you collect.
And I didn't buy either of them. They're gifted to me. They're like the easy gift that people go out. They're all like, oh, he likes this. I'm gonna go get him a pop figure, and you have it, and it just sits on your desk, and you're like, God, I hate this thing. But you feel bad because you got it as a gift, so you can't just throw it away.
But you kept it. Oh, that's so sweet. You collect. You now collect.
I have a collection.
So one day you'll buy one.
No.
One day.
I will never buy one.
You say never.
Never.
But anyways, you're asking about the pop figures. My hundreds of pop figures that
Thousands.
I own. Not quite like this guy on TikTok that I've seen that, oh my God. I think he has like a room or like two or 3 rooms, like wall to wall from floor to ceiling, and just I'm pretty sure he has like well over 1,000 pop figures. He bought pretty much every single pop figure there is out there right now. Ridiculous. And I think he even posted a video like, do I have an addiction? And he has like this throne, this chair, and then he's holding one, and then it zooms out and you see his whole collection behind it. And I'm like, oh my God, that is ridiculous. But anyways, keeping it with the theme of Halloween, there was one that I saw. Not saying I'm gonna get it. I might not.
Huh?
As much as I love horror movies, TV shows, just anything horror themed, seeing that this is my favorite time of the year, my favorite month. Not just the fact that it's fall, but it's getting colder. It's Halloween. It's October. My favorite time of the year. And there was one pop figure that I saw online of Jason Voorhees.
Ooh.
Now, I do have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
When was his first appearance?
Oh, shoot. That was probably what? It's a while ago. I want to say late 60s, early 70s?
Well, I'm not quite asking as far as, like, what year. Like, how many movies has there been?
There are a lot. There's like what?
Okay.
I want to
What's
say.
the name of the movie that Jason is in?
Isn't it Friday the 13th?
Correct. All right. So,
Ooh,
out of all
I
the
did so
movies,
good.
obviously, yay! Which movie did he debut? That he first appeared
What's the
in?
second one? Because
Is
isn't the
that
first
your,
one?
Is that your answer? The second one?
Yeah, the second one.
Why? Well, why not the first?
Because isn't the first one his mom?
Bingo. Oh, I'm so
Ooh,
proud of you. Look
that's
at
right.
that.
I do watch some
Hey.
movies.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I thought I'd say I do my research. Like, oh, come on, you're killing me.
No, you would have had the keyboard going in the background.
Tack, 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 tack. Your red mechanical keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
But yes. So, and do you remember what he was wearing when he first appeared in the movie?
Was he wearing like a camp outfit?
So let me ask it a different way. Was he wearing his iconic hockey mask?
No.
What was he wearing?
Wasn't it like a bag with like a hole in it?
Yay. So that's basically the pop figure.
Oh.
But as I looked at that pop figure, it reminded me of a recent movie that I saw. Oh, I think it came out a couple of months ago on Netflix called Fear Street. So for all you viewers out there who do have Netflix or want to borrow somebody's Netflix account, sit down, make some popcorn, sit back and enjoy the trilogy. It's called Fear Street. It is great because if I'm not mistaken, I would have to research it again because I do remember after I watched the first movie and I was looking at the credits, I don't think it was directed by this guy, but I want to say it was produced by no other than most famous R.L. Stine. Used to love reading his books on Goosebumps, watching the television show, but if I'm not mistaken, he did produce the movie, the trilogy, and it is a great trilogy. Well done. And of course, it got a lot of mixed reviews, as does any movie, TV show. They're always going to get mixed reviews. But I personally have to say, job well done. It was a great slasher film. It really was. So yeah.
R.L. Stein made it? Or produced it?
No. I want to say he produced it. Either he produced it or he helped out. Like his name was in the credits. So he helped out some way, in some fashion. He was a part of that team.
Do you remember The Witching Hour? I think that's what it's called. It's by R.L. Stein as well.
Witching Hour, movie, TV show? Doesn't sound familiar.
I think it was a TV movie.
A TV movie, almost like kind of like it's a Disney movie. Because I knew like back in the day, the Disney Channel had its own movies that I wouldn't say made it to the big screen, but it was basically a TV movie, like you said.
Do you remember?
Talking about?
Yeah. It was kind of like that. Anyway,
Okay.
The point that I was making is I feel like nobody remembers this damn movie, and I don't even remember it either. I just remember that R.L. Stein had made it. But
when was this? Back in the 90s?
Maybe, yeah, or maybe like early 2000s.
I might have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
But anyways,
yeah. Is there anything else about this traditional vintage Jason Voorhees Funko Pop? Can you hear those freaking dogs?
I can hear the dogs. I remember the first episode when we first started recording. It was even in the within the first minute. You're like, "Oh my god, can you hear those children?" Oh,
yes, there's kids
like,
right outside
kids?
the window, and they're just like, and it's like, go away. And now the dogs are like, it's so annoying. My house used to be so quiet. It used to be so peaceful. And then like 2 months in, everybody there's like these kids, they were disgusting. They would throw gum on the hallway.
They were disgusting.
And I wasn't going to pick up that gum. I'm not their little like nanny. They could pick up their own nasty gum. And it was like the whole Icebreakers cup thing. They fell over, they dropped it, and it went everywhere. And they didn't pick it up. And this whole time I'm like, I'm not picking it up. I'm not going to bend to their will. I'm not their nanny. And you know what they did?
They left it.
They moved.
Oh, they moved.
They moved, and that stayed there.
That's funny.
Oh God, that's just the one of the many like just nasty, disgusting neighbors. Anyway, was there anything?
Wow.
Was there anything else with the Jason Voorhees Funko Pop? Is it? What can we get a price range? What?
Oh, you already. I'm pretty sure.
I have no idea.
A lot of collectors
I've
out
never
there,
bought
or
one.
whatever. With a lot of collectors out there, a lot of people who buy pop figures, they always run anywhere from like $10 to like $15.
Okay, well that's not crazy. I thought it was gonna be like
it's really not that crazy. And if you go to some places where they'll still have like pop figures that don't sell well or that they've had for months or a year or whatever, it'll go from $10 down to like maybe $4 or $5, and it's like, man, that's a steal, right?
Would you happen
typically
to,
if you go?
Would you happen to remember the cheapest Funko Pop you ever saw? Walked past?
Like I said, it was about $4 or $5. I think it was either at like GameStop, Walmart, Target, Walgreens. There's a lot of places that will sell them, and there's some that are very like limited editions that you can't find anywhere else. They'll have the stickers on there, and some of them do have those stores' name brands, the sticker on it saying only at input whatever store, only at Walmart, only at Walgreens, only at Target, only at Spencer's, or Hot Topic. I have some of those like that, or they have some that are like special editions only sold at certain Comic Cons, which are really great, because if you go online and find those Comic Con special edition ones, they sell for like anywhere from $40 to, I think I've seen like over 100.
Jeez,
like, man. And I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I've bought some of those special editions on Amazon, like $40, $50, but not all of the pop figures I own costed that much.
Is there a specific character that you see on those clearance racks that pops up probably more than average?
I'm trying to think.
Like Jar Jar Binks or something? I don't know.
No, you might have like some side characters from movies or TV shows that people don't want, and they either get rid of it, they send it back. I guess the store sends it back, or I don't know. But typically you'll find those that are like stupid cheap. And it's like, for those who are truly collectors, they'll buy every single pop figure that there is to own, like some people, like I mentioned. But as far as the Jason Voorhees one goes, it made me think of that movie Fear Street, because the original Jason Voorhees, when he wore that little bag, reminded me of one of the villains in the Fear Street movie trilogy. There's a guy that also wears a bag, like a little sack over his head, but there's no hole, and it's real creepy, and he wields an axe. It's real creepy, but it's like I said, it's a really good movie. So yeah, go check it out. But
Said it's a 3-parter, or it's a trilogy?
yeah. It's a trilogy. So it follows. It even says Fear Street Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. You know, the first one is like
You know.
like today. Part 2 is like based in the 70s, and then Part 3 kind of goes further back into the 1600s. Like it all connects.
Oh, wow.
It's really great. It really is.
And that's all by R.L. Stine, or he's in it somewhere?
He's not in it, but well, I'm like I said, he helped either produce it or he helped some kind of way, because they do put his name in the credits at the very beginning of the credits and all that. You know, I want to say he did produce it, but I mean, I could be wrong. Again, I would have to look it up. But I know that between R.L. Stine, you know, like I said, I used to buy his book, Goosebump books, watch the TV show when it came out, and I believe it was on Fox Kids.
What?
I think. I don't remember. I remember seeing it. It was either like it was always after school or on the weekends or at night or something like that. Just like there was Are You Afraid of the Dark, which they also made a new, like an updated version of Are You Afraid of the Dark, and it's now on Netflix.
Huh. I think
really good.
Goosebumps was on Nickelodeon, and I think
was it on Nickelodeon?
Are You Afraid of the Dark was also on Nickelodeon.
Are You Afraid of the Dark was definitely on Nickelodeon. I will agree with that.
That one was always too scary
Goosebumps?
for me.
Really?
Yeah, and I would watch Goosebumps instead.
I loved it.
That being said, and going back and talking about the let's watch a Disney Channel movie, yeah. Do you remember any of the Halloween Disney movies?
The only one that comes to my mind is Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
That is iconic. I mean, come on now. You can't go wrong with Hocus Pocus.
I really liked Hocus Pocus.
In fact, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I haven't watched it since I was a kid, but I'm pretty sure I would laugh at it now. But who was it that was in that movie that I had a crush on? I think about it now, and I'm just kind of I cringe. I'm like, oh, I had a crush on her. Like,
was it the blonde chick?
Yeah, what was her name? Because she was on Sex and the City, right?
Was she?
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea.
The blonde, yes. I forgot her name.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's how much I cringe at it now. I was like, ooh. But yeah, Hocus Pocus was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think if there was anything else that Disney would have released that was Halloween themed, like its own movies or something. I think that was pretty much like what it was well known for. It was Hocus Pocus.
I remember another big hitter. I think they made a sequel, and then I think they made a third one. I was gonna say prequel, but I feel like it's not a prequel.
Okay.
But how about this little town? This little town called Halloween Town. Ringing any bells?
It doesn't ring a bell.
Why? You never seen Halloween Town?
No. It sounds familiar, but I don't think I ever watched it, because I think I remember seeing like previews or some crap like that, and I was like...
So I don't remember this movie at all, so I'm pretty sure it's kind of bad. But I can walk you through the first movie as well as I remember. So sit back and get some popcorn, get your orange juice and a couple celery sticks, and let's go!
Celery sticks? What is wrong with you?
So, establishing shot. A 90s place. All these kids are freaking out. It's Halloween, and it's awesome. Everybody's getting candy and stuff. I should probably say this pretty fast because it's going to take a long time. It's a long movie.
You could just like give a quick summary.
No. So, this chick, God, how old is she? Maybe she's old enough that she's like, oh, Halloween's lame or something like that. And her grandma comes into town, or maybe it's her aunt. I don't remember. But she's like, oh, Halloween's cool. You suck. And then the little kid, she has a little sister. She's like, oh, yeah, I like Halloween. And she's actually, oh, guess what? Grandma's a witch. And what? Grandma's a witch? Yeah, okay, I'm going back home now. She's like, where's home? Oh, it's Halloween Town, where it's Halloween every single day. Maybe even on Halloween. What do you think? What do you think happens in Halloween Town on Halloween?
You can only imagine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Things get creepy.
Or you think
kind of far away, by the way.
I guess it's just this other mic. I have two mics going on right now.
I see.
Anyway, she goes to Halloween Town and it's super wacky and zany. There's a giant jack-o'-lantern in the middle, and nobody's taking a in it. And there's like this disgusting troll man who's like attractive or something. I remember him being like attractive at the beginning, and then he gets like super ugly towards the end. And there's this movie theater, and it's showing this movie that's just so boring and it sucks, and everybody goes there and they turn into statues, and the grandma goes there and she turns into a statue. And then the main character, the ugly troll guy, and the sister, they're like, oh, we gotta help grandma. And then the mom comes, she's like, oh, you stupid old lady, I told you not to bring them here. And she gets stuck in the movie too, and she's like, oh man, this movie sucks. And then she falls asleep, and then she turns into a stone. And then they're like, oh, okay, we need these ingredients to make a good potion to save everybody in the town. And they go, and there's this really fat ghost, and then they beat him up and they lock him into the sauna, and they like sweat him out until he's like super skinny, and they steal his sweat. And then I think another ingredient was like wolf's pubes or something like that. They like trim this wolf's and then they put it in the potion. And that's it. They go back and they save the grandma, and that's it. The story's over.
Wow.
And it was so good that they made a second one.
Doesn't sound like my cup of tea, I guess. Sounds kind of boring.
Honestly, that's all I remember. If I watch it again, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of interesting and unique ideas. I think the main thing was how unique the town felt. It was like really, it was really charming, I guess you could say.
Huh.
How about Cartoon Network? Do you know any Halloween specials that come around and Cartoon Network?
Not quite specials, aside from your Scooby-Doo, Courage the Cowardly Dog. A lot of the other, cartoons would have their own like Halloween specials, but I don't think it was anything like Disney, because Disney always had their own movies. It was pretty much straight to TV, not quite straight to video or appeared on the big screen. It's always been like that. Yeah. So I was gonna say the only one I could think on Cartoon Network, but yeah, Scooby-Doo. They did the Scooby-Doo movies, which are its own separate thing. Maybe we could talk about that some other time. And the one that I always remember was the Scary Godmother. Have you seen that one? No, it doesn't sound scary at all.
Yeah, it's based off of like a children's book, and it's actually really cute. It's really charming. I feel like I like it. I'm gonna put me on that side. I like the movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, so
Wow.
So let me go ahead and describe for you.
You like corny.
Yeah. I like cheesy, schlocky. I don't know. It's just something about it. It's really charming. But let me tell you what happens in that movie. So he starts off with this girl. Her name is Hannah. She's going Halloween. She's going into Halloween. She's going to Halloween. She's doing Halloween. How do you? She's gonna go. She's going trick or treating. There you go. Mm-hmm. It's Halloween and she's going trick or treating. She's going with like her cousin or something. His name is Jimmy and he's dressed up as a devil. Jimmy has 3 friends. 2 are this couple that are like kind of into each other, and the other one's like this dude who's dressed up as a baseball player in a minivan. And they don't want Hannah with them, so they're like, okay, let's take her to this old abandoned place and we'll ditch her there. So they do that. They take her there. They ditch her there. Hannah's like freaking out. She's sad. She's crying, and they're like, aha, let's leave her in there. And lo and behold, Hannah gets saved by the Scary Godmother. Ooh, spooky. She looks like Miss Frizzle if Miss Frizzle was like, decked out with Halloween. Anyway, she takes her to I don't know the name of the place. She takes her to Halloween Town. But she takes her to her house, and the scary godmother, she has like a skeleton in the closet, and he comes out of the closet, and then there's some vampires who come over, and this whole time like Hannah's like freaking out, and then like the skeleton would be like, "Oh, I'm not scary," and then Hannah would be like, "Okay." And then the vampires come out, and they're like, "Oh, we want to come in, but you have to invite us in first." And then Hannah's freaking out. She's like, "Ah," and they're like, "No, it's okay. We're not gonna kill you, I guess." And then the boogie monster comes, and oh wait, there's a wolf too. There's a lazy wolf. We don't have to worry about him. All he does is mooch off of everybody. Anyway, long story short, Hannah realizes, things can be scary, but you can get over them. So then she goes back to the real world, and she scares the shit out of her friends. And that's it. The movie ends.
Wow, that sounds extremely cheesy. I don't know how I feel about that. That's why I kind of gave up on scary movies for a long time, because I feel like from the 70s through the 90s were fantastic for scary movies. It really was. That's where you have a lot of your most iconic movies, from Scream, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Critters, Hellraiser. I mean, I can just go on and on and on. I love watching scary movies.
That's a
American
nice
Werewolf
list.
in London. I mean, I can keep going on and on. I love watching scary movies, but then once it got to 2000s, man, they lost their touch. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of scary movies, obviously, that have their jump scares. It'll always get people, let's be real, but it's the overall movie is what makes it. It's not just jump scares. So when I see like all these new movies, The Nun and all these, you know what I mean? It's like, Insidious, like, that was pretty scary. It had a couple of good jump scares, I'll give you that. But as a whole, I'm like, the movie was not that scary. I'm like, it didn't give me that creep factor, which is funny and odd, because I always said that for the longest time. But when the very first Conjuring movie came out, I heard a lot about it, and as usual, when I saw the trailers and everything, I was just like, yawn, okay, it's going to be another snooze fest. But I heard all these things, like people were talking about, we were at the theater and it made grown people cry. And I'm like, get out of here. It made people leave the theater and this and that. I'm like, no way. I'm like, okay. And saying people said the same thing when Paranormal Activity came out, the very first one. It had some good jump scares, don't get me wrong. But overall, when the movie was over, I kind of sat there and I'm like, the hell? That's it? This movie sucks. It was kind of like, also, what was it back in the 90s? The Blair Witch. Oh, man. It'll always be a cult movie, a cult classic, I should say. It's extreme. It's so bad. But you know what? For the money that was put into that movie, it wasn't, I don't think it was that much, actually.
I think it was like 600,000, wasn't it?
No, not even. No way. Really? No. I'll have to look back, but it wasn't that a lot. They didn't put a lot of money into it, obviously, if you look at the movie. But I did have a cousin who was super scared of that movie. And this was a cousin of mine that I kind of looked up to, and he was always that big football player type. Nothing could scare me. He joined the army and all this other stuff. But when I heard that it scared him, I'm like, no way, this movie? And I watched it when it came out, because it was, of course, around the time VHS. So I rented it from Blockbuster, and I was a little freaked out myself. I was only a teenager, but I was freaked out. I was like, wow, this was a pretty scary movie. I liked it, though. Watch it now, and I'm like, wow, this was crap. But that movie laid the foundation for all these POV horror movies.
Yeah, found footage movies.
Shaky found footage. Oh my God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Blair Witch laid the foundation for all those type of movies that came after. And I'm like, I think I saw a documentary that talked about that too. And I was like, you know what? That's very true, because that was the first movie of its kind that did something like that. And of course, at the time, it seemed so realistic. And it was like, wow. But later on, when obviously when people knew it was just a movie, it was like, wait a minute, there's credits. These are actors. This sucks. Like, yeah, I actually believed it. I actually thought this was like real. Like, oh my God. And it was great. And again, it'll always be a cult classic. I've watched it a couple of times, within the past few years. But no, there was something else I was going to go with this, that you brought up, you said something that made me think of a movie that I saw within the past year. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great adaptation right there, from book to movie. Great. Loved reading those books back when I was in school. Loved it. And the movie was great too. As always, got a lot of mixed reviews, a lot of good, bad, ugly, but I felt like it was good. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to be biased. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. No. I will be realistic and say I'd probably give that movie a 7 out of 10. Still a good movie.
I did enjoy that movie. I never read the books, to be honest, but
I love.
I heard
books.
some dentist wrote that book, right? Or did he do the illustrations?
I don't remember. So it sounds like you did a little research on that.
Maybe. Yeah, I know of it. Like I've seen the movie, right? I know the part that got me the most was like the super unsettling part with the lady that smiles or something like that. It's got that big lady and she's in the hallways.
Yeah.
That part was like really good. I really liked that. I like the lighting. It was like turning red and flashing, and the dude, every time you turn around, it's like, where do I go? What do I do? And it was no jump scare. It was nothing. It was just pure, tension. It built up to the final moment where
Yeah. But no, like I was saying earlier though about The Conjuring, when that first movie came out, I didn't believe people. I heard all the hype. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give this one a shot. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get the movie. I have my surround sound and everything in this little duplex home that I was living in, about 700-800 square feet. Sat down in the living room, turned off all the lights, watched the movie. And I will say, that was probably the first time I got so scared. I turned all the lights on. I was like, I was really not anxious, but I was scared. Yeah, I was really scared. It was the first time. I was like, whoa! It was a good movie, but then the sequels, and yeah, we won't talk about that.
I've actually never seen.
The first movie was
anyone.
Great. The Conjuring is a good. The first one, in my opinion, was a good scary movie that a good scary movie that I've seen in a long time. Obviously, like in the early 2000s, you have movies like, God, what was that one? Oh, The Grudge, Ju-On, which, by the way, they do have a TV series.
Really?
Which is, yeah, it's of course, if you have like VPN or something, you can like switch over to Japan and then log into Netflix and watch all the stuff from Japan. But I did that when I forgot where I was. But anyways, yeah, I watched it.
Huh.
And it's really creepy. It does have it has some jump scares here and there as usual, but like overall, the TV show, the Grudge TV show in Japan, really good.
Really?
I'll give it. I'll probably again give it about a 7.5 out of 10. It had its really good creepy factor to it. I liked it. I really did. Because obviously everybody knows about the Grudge and the little lady and all that, But yeah, it was pretty good.
So like my whole life, I've been super scared of movies or scary movies. I've been scared of a lot of things. So I avoided scary movies for a long, long time. And I think the first one I watched was the Paranormal Activity. I think we talked about it last time. It's their ad campaign was super crazy. Like, call your theater and demand they put this movie in your theater. It makes old ladies cry and shit like that. And then you like watch it and like the dude like flies right into the camera. That was like the only jump scare I think it was in the movie. If you don't like look right here.
Kind of. It was at the very end.
Yeah, right here. Where his soul flies to the camera. Anyway, there's 2 different endings, by the way. There's one they played in theaters and the one they played in movies. But that's besides the point. That movie actually did get me because like once I said it was one of the first scary movies I actually watched. And the next one after that was Insidious. Oh. And everybody's like, "Oh, this is the scariest movie ever. Don't watch Insidious." Blah 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 this, blah blah that. And I'm like, I'm freaking out because like I said, already getting scared of things. It's super easy for me. I watch Insidious and it's so dumb. I remember they play my boy Tiny Tim. Do you know who Tiny Tim is?
Tiny Tim.
He's in the pilot. He's also in the pilot episode of SpongeBob. I'm so happy. I'm having a happy time.
Wow.
I like Tiny Tim. He makes me smile. He makes me happy. And they like try to make him like, oh, this is scary. Tiny Tim is scary. And there's this.
That was a creepy song.
No, it was fine. I thought it was fine. I thought it was great.
No,
the other part I started.
Very creepy song.
The other part I remember cracking up laughing was they're like all sitting around this table and they have like this like seance lady who's somebody who's seen the main. I think I've probably talked about it already, but she's like.
Well, the devil appears?
Yeah, she's like, sometimes I can still see him. And then she like looks up and he's like right behind and he's standing there like,
You laughed at that part?
I did. I thought it was so funny because he's like Dark Maul and it's like, oh, of course you can still see him. He's standing right there. Oh, man.
That part of the movie did scare me. It was a good jump scare. I was like, whoa, God. I was like, okay. Now,
God, these stupid dogs.
Would you or have you ever been to a haunted house?
I've been to
Not one of those the themed parks, kind of.
Like a theme park? Have I been to a theme park or a haunted house?
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Because when I say haunted house, some people might take that as, oh, you mean like a house that's actually haunted? Like, no, the haunted house attraction
where they set up like a haunted house.
People
and they
dress up and then they follow you or they scare you. That type of haunted house.
I've been to 2. One as a kid, I was way too young to remember, and one as like a young teenager. Yeah.
Was it just scary for you? Did you like it?
So,
did you hate it? Did you laugh?
The first one I don't remember at all. All I remember was getting to the end, and my friend's grandma, she was there, and she gave me candy. My friend's family hated me. I don't know why, they just hated me. But the grandma was the only one that would fake being nice to me. And she's like, oh, here you go, here's some candy. We can get into that a little bit later. So, but
sounds like what happened when I volunteered at a haunted house one time, and when I was in high school, I did it for 2 years straight. It was great. First year, I loved it. I forgot what the hell I did. But it was the second year. It was my senior year in high school. I volunteered at this haunted house. And New Dimensions actually hosted at that haunted house. And I was super excited. Oh man, I was so excited. They had iconic scenes from, no, I wouldn't say iconic, but, scenes from iconic movies, I should say. The Ring, Saw, what's that one werewolf movie? The Howling. That's right. The Howling. Yeah, Saw, The Ring, I believe Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was at the very end of the haunted house, and there was quite a few other ones, but it was so badass. I was so happy that time around that time. I was like, yes, oh, we're gonna do this. And it came time for the volunteers to get choose what they wanted to do, and I don't remember choosing it. I think I remember one of the workers there choosing it for me. They're like, hey, you and you, this tall, big dude. And then it was me, this little scrawny kid. All right, Freddy and Jason. and Freddy versus Jason. And I looked, I'm like, excuse me? Like, you want me to be Freddy? And of course, deep down, I mean, I was like a little kid. I was super excited. I was like, yes! But I couldn't act.
Oh.
I could not act. So they were probably thinking, okay, he should probably kind of laugh like Freddy, act like Freddy, kind of. They're not looking for like a spectacular, like on point type, Freddy Krueger, acting, but something close. And I didn't do that. I didn't even last maybe like 2 or 3 rotations.
Oh.
And then finally one of the workers came in there, because it was easy for the other guy because Jason
doesn't talk. He's just so big.
He just moves, and he had his little fake machete in his hand. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I sucked. It was so terrible.
You didn't even go around and go like, oh.
I couldn't. I don't think I could cuss. But no. I wasn't scary enough. So they were like, "Hey, bud, come with us." So I was fired.
Oh.
It was their nice way of firing me. So I was pretty depressed. Not really depressed, but I was sad. Sad panda. So they brought me back out. They're like, all right, give this guy, and it was one of the workers, because that's what they do every year. So they gave the Freddy costume to him, and turns out he did a phenomenal job, because everybody that came out were like, oh man, that Freddy was good. And I'm just like, oh, I suck. Fuck my life. So they were like, what can we do for you? So they put me in this little, I wouldn't say like I think it was a onesie almost. So it was like this black costume from head to toe. And it had these glow in the dark stars all over the costume. And that only lights up with a black light. So in my head at the time, I'm like, great, I'm fucking Starboy. I'm like, great. So they take me to my room. Oh god, it was so embarrassing. They took me to my room. I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm freaking Starboy. Like, what do you want me to do? Look up at the stars, kids.
It was the tree.
But when I got to my room, that's when it clicked. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be awesome. The entire room was all black, from the floor to the ceiling, all along the walls had the same stars and one single black light hanging from the ceiling. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And sure as hell, oh my god, I got kudos, because not even like 10 rotations later, the manager comes up to me. He's like, bro, I like the way you move. He's like, that was awesome. I'm like, thanks. I was like, I like this now. It was great, because everybody that came into the room, everybody would pause and be like, oh man, oh, there he is. And I come up from right beside them, like, they're like, I'd surprise them. People would always come in the room thinking, oh, I know this room. He's right there. Oh, he's right here. And I'd be on the complete opposite side, or kind of close, Oh, sorry about that.
What was that? Stomp on a cat.
We'll cut that out.
Mike Live, Red Hot Mike.
Yeah, Hot Mike. Oh, my phone went off. But anyways, yeah. I had a great time doing that.
That's pretty cool.
What you said reminded me. Well, you said it was your grandma that took you as a kid.
No.
Who was it that took you as a kid?
I don't remember. The only thing I remember was my friend's grandma being there, and she gave me candy at the end.
That's what you said. Okay. Well, I kind of felt bad for this little kid. He probably was anywhere from 6 to 8 years old, maybe, walking through this haunted house, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And he was accompanied by his grandma, and I was like looking at her like, come on. You're a terrible grandmother. This poor boy's gonna be scarred for life. He's gonna have PTSD. He's gonna hate Halloween. Because I scared him, made him cry. And
oh my god, you made him cry?
I made him cry. Yeah, I guess he wasn't suspecting it. And I'd keep I almost had a couple of guys almost hit me because they were with their girls, you know, and trying to be all macho and whatnot. Like, look at me, I'm protective and blah, blah, blah. And, of course, every room has a panic button. So if something happens like that, you get hit or you get harassed or anything like that, you hit that panic button and security comes in and escorts the people out and kicks them out pretty much. But I had a couple of guys that raised their fists at me, and I'm like, go ahead and do it. You'll be escorted off. And they walked out mumbling underneath their breath and whatnot. And I'm like, whatever. I made a teenager have an asthma attack.
Jesus.
I felt bad. And that's the first time I actually hit that panic button because she was having I'm not sure if it was a panic attack. I think it was an asthma attack because her friends were around like, oh my gosh, she's having an asthma attack. And I'm like, oh crap.
And you were like, boo!
Hit the panic button. Security came in, took her out, and I was just like, if you have that, what the hell are you doing here? I was like, people, I just don't understand. But yeah, that was pretty much the extent of it. It was great.
That sounds pretty cool, yeah.
And the wife and I are gonna be going to one of the haunted houses here this week.
Really? I'm jealous.
Yes.
There's one around here. I'm pretty sure you know of it. It's probably the one you're going to. But I want to go to that one like so badly. You
can join us.
There was
we're going Wednesday.
Maybe, yeah. Do I have to get tickets? Like, what's going on?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if we'll get it beforehand or we get it there, but we'll probably talk that later.
All right. But yeah. There's what is it? There's this group of people. They run around and they go drinking, and
oh, you told me about this.
Yeah. They took the people who actually work there, and I thought that would be pretty cool, you know, showing up with a bunch of people who are like super scary and just going out drinking with them. I ended up not doing it. I don't remember why I didn't do it, but I ended up not doing that.
Really trust randos and costumes, not knowing exactly who they are and what you're doing? I don't know.
See, it kind of falls into that carny kind of thing. I don't know if you know this about me, but I hate carnies with a passion. I had this really bad experience with carnies when I was younger. I guess I can tell it to you right now. So I show up at this, carnies they don't stay in town all the time. They're always rotating in. They set up and it's dead. It's deader than dead. Nobody's there. This old lady, she has like maybe 2 teeth. She's like, "Hey, come over here."
2 teeth.
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, come over here. Come check it out." And I walk over. I'm with my friend, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's 3 darts for $20 or something like that. And if you hit something, you get a prize. It's just how it is, Here, you take the first dart and give it a shot." And I was like, "Okay." So I take the first dart and I hit it with the balloon, and she's like, "Oh wow, that was really good. Here, try again and see if you could actually get like a real big prize." And I throw it again, it hits another one. She's like, "Oh wow, you're doing good." And I throw it again and it hits another one. And she's like, "Wow. Okay, so you threw 3 darts, that's $20. And I'm like, wait, what? And she's like,
"Gotcha."
Yeah. 3 darts to $20. Here's your prize. She gave me like this little Hello Kitty thing, and I was like, okay. But I don't have $20. She's like, "What? You don't have $20?" She's like, "What are you doing here then?" And I was like, I was just walking. You're the one that told me to come throw these darts. She looks at me with like this stare, this glaze. She's like, "Okay, fine. You can leave, take your prize. But if I see you spending money at any of these other stands, I'm going to have the boys take you out back and break your knees."
Whoa, good God.
Lo and behold, I did have money. I just didn't spend it anywhere clear next to her. But yeah, it's ever since then, my hate of carnies has gone up to, I went next year, and like this dude, he like was shooting the basketball and he accidentally hit it off the rim, and it rolled, and it hit I was with my cousin that time. It hit my cousin's foot, and he's like, "Oh, hey, you grab the ball and, take a shot." And I was like, do not do that. Just give him the ball back and tell him to go f himself. And then they started heckling us because they caught on to, that I knew some of the scams. Then they're like, "Oh, hey, you want to win something for your girlfriend there?" And then ever since then, like, I've hated carnies. And so, like, that whole rotational thing, they go away, but they come for a certain period of time during like fall or something. I kind of get that feeling with the haunted house people too. And I was like, man, maybe I don't want to drink with these people.
All right.
We should probably wrap up this one.
Sounds good to me.
Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No.
Wow.
Not at the moment. No, that's pretty much it. Unless you have anything.
I do have something. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you know when our new stupid videos come out.
Yeah.
It's the call to action. You forgot the call to action.
Call to action.
Also, yeah, don't forget to tune in for our very scary creepypasta.
Bye.
Bye bye. I thought you were gonna be like, oh no, creepypasta, whatever, blah blah blah. It'll be great.